Say shalom, shalom b'roma, ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Shalom b'roma, ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru nerane, lechu nerane, lechu nerane na. Lechu nerane, lechu nerane, lechu nerane na. Lechu nerane, lechu nerane, lechu nerane na. L'Adonai naria naria, letzu yisheinu. L'Adonai naria naria, letzu yisheinu. Lechu nerane, lechu nerane, lechu nerane na. Lechu nerane, lechu nerane, lechu nerane na. Lechu nerane, lechu nerane, lechu nerane na. L'Adonai naria naria, letzu yisheinu. L'Adonai naria naria, letzu yisheinu. Shiru la'Adonai ul haaretz. Shiru la'Adonai. Shir hine matov. Hine matov. Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine, hine, hine matov. Hine, hine matov. Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine, hine, hine matov. Lechu nerane, lechu nerane, lechu nerane na. Lechu nerane, lechu nerane, lechu nerane na. Lechu nerane, lechu nerane, lechu nerane na. L'Adonai naria naria, letzu yisheinu. L'Adonai naria naria, letzu yisheinu. Shiru la'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru la'Adonai. Shir chadash. Shalom aleichem, malachei asharit, malachei elyon, mi melech malachei amlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Baruch hu ani l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei amlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Seidchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim, hakadosh baruch hu.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Okay, it's good to be together. I feel like I'm going to start our sharing of celebrations by saying I am very celebratory that next Shabbat is our Broadway Shabbat. It is one of my favorites of the year, and so I just wanted to remind you and make sure it's on your mind to be here to celebrate the joy and music of Broadway as it applies to the Jewish Sabbath. Okay.
The New York Broadway, not downtown Nashville Broadway.
Yes,
That's
thank you for that clarification,
Yeah.
Cantor Josh. I appreciate that so much. All right, what are the good things we're celebrating besides a Martinez family bar mitzvah? We will be inviting you up to light candles shortly. We are very excited about that. Also, I can't believe how tall you are, but we'll talk about that later. Leon.
It was our anniversary last week.
It was your anniversary, and how many years? 54. And Vera, we know you are recovering. If you are watching, happy anniversary. Is she watching? I hope so. Okay, we hope so, Vera. Okay, Susan.
They beat us. We've only been married 42 years.
Oh my gosh.
That's all?
Yes, you were. I was just going to say, Susan, I can't believe you guys are the same age. That's amazing. Happy, happy anniversaries all the way around. All right, I'm coming over to Larry Weissman.
I have my brother Bob and his wife Jennifer here visiting us.
All right, and Bob and Jennifer, where do you all reside? Oh, nice. Not been there, but it sounds lovely. Oh, yes. Hello.
Hey everyone, my name is Jacob Lapidus, and I'm celebrating. This is my first Shabbat as a member for Congregation Micah. Thank you. And my mother is in town.
We need to get you a real name tag.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's, yeah, great. Okay. All right, I'm coming over here.
Ron and I will celebrate our 24th wedding anniversary on Monday.
All right.
You guys beat us.
All right, it's the, okay.
As we moved this summer, I found some documentation that reminds me this is the 21st anniversary of my conversion.
Oh.
Oh, that's so nice. You know, okay. No.
Well, this is for you, Rabbi, to ask you. I think I got a sign because I had ordered the daily dose of Torah from Art Scroll. You know, they have a thing. And it arrived Erev Shavuot.
She got the Torah.
Right?
Nanette got the Torah on Shavuot. One year it was
Lucky.
Moses, this year it was Nanette. You never know who it's going to be. It could be you next year. That's all I'm saying.
A friend of mine that I haven't seen in 30 years is coming to celebrate my birthday with me in a couple weeks. We've known each other since we're 10 years old.
So I'm standing near Helene. So we have this new program that our wonderful membership director, Sophie, brought to our team. It's called Notebird. I love it. Every day I get an update on what's going on in your lives. So if you randomly get a text from me that says happy birthday or happy anniversary or whatever it is, it's because sometimes Notebird doesn't tell me everything, just so you know. If you don't get a text from me, don't think I don't love you. But Notebird told me today that I think it's your anniversary of joining Micah, Helene, this Shabbat. So that's exciting. I mean, it tells me all sorts of really exciting things. I know all things about you. How many years? 26 years. I love this. It's so great. So happy anniversary. I know there were other hands, and I didn't see them. Well, I also want to say that we have a very exciting thing happening in our community. And Dan, could you just say a brief word about the Noah Bank?
Yeah, on June 4th, Noah will have a big fundraiser. I've got some postcards. Somebody passed now. We also have them at the front desk. But June 4th, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks, we'd love for people to buy tickets and come and support this wonderful organization.
Thank you, Dan, very much. So I know that many of you know that this past Monday, they conferred upon Rabbi Flip and I and many of our classmates our 25th year doctorate of ministry.
Yes.
Doctor of Divinity, I think they call it. And I like to call it the degree that was bestowed upon us for surviving as Jewish professionals for 25 years. But we learned a couple things. One of the things we learned is that we are really, really lucky. And I'm not just saying that. As we sat and listened to our classmates talk about, the prompt from the president of our seminary was, so has it been what you thought? Which was such a fun and interesting prompt. And it turns out for many of our classmates, no. It had been not what they'd hoped, not what they'd expected, not as fruitful or as rewarding or rich. And we didn't sit next to each other. We just kept looking at each other across the circle thinking, oh my gosh, we're so lucky. We almost feel that we'd be bragging if we participate and say, we are part of this amazingly rich and wonderful community of caring people and who've stood by us for 20 years. So we tried to be a little understated when we talked about how great you were. But we really, truly did feel so lucky. And a couple people have said, can we watch the service? Has it been recorded? And I said, you don't want to, because it turns out that when the academics run a service for the rabbis, it's not very good. They are great in the classroom, but not so great when it comes to leading services, to which we all laughed. We thought it was hilarious.
But we're going to honor you right now.
But Cantor wants to honor us right now, so I'm going to turn it over to Cantor.
So I'm going to call up our president, Ron Hetty, and our executive director, Carrie Tapia. And we're going to come over here and put this tallis around you, which is our beautiful tallis that we made a few weeks ago with the whole congregation. And Ron, I'll let you go first.
Oh, you want me to say all Here? Oh, all right. All right. So, Shabbat Shalom. It's comforting and affirming to see fellow congregants here after such a bleak, rainy day. I feel fortunate to have this opportunity tonight, not to deliver a Devar Torah or a sermon, not to chant from the Torah, although I have done that under Rabbi Laurie's tutelage, and not to sing with Cantor Josh. You're welcome. Instead, I get to share the good news of the honor our rabbis received in LA last week, and to add a few words about their tenure here. In case you missed an explanation of the honor, my friend AI tells me that reaching 25 years in the rabbinate is a monumental milestone of leadership and community service, typically marked by seminaries such as Hebrew Union College, awarding an honorary Doctor of Divinity. This quarter-century tenure is an opportunity to reflect on enduring legacies, celebrate institutional resilience, and share hard-earned wisdom. As the Micah Facebook post last week also noted, we're fortunate to have been the recipients of 20 of their pastoral years so far here at Congregation Micah. How many of you, go ahead and raise your hands, were here when these two and their 3 young children first entered our Micah community? Is that fantastic? Intrigued as we were by the novelty of co-rabbis, married to each other yet, our curiosity increased as we learned more about them. Marathon running, swimming, and yoga. And he reads and translates Torah at virtually the same time. And she can sing, too. These personal details, interesting though they were, soon took a deserved second place to the talent, skills, knowledge, and empathy they have brought and integrated into our spiritual lives. I think it's fair to say that we've all grown these past 20 years. They've grown from young parents balancing the demands of professional and personal life to empty nesters, sort of. And we have all grown as a congregation with their guidance in our understanding of how actually we can be, as Rabbi Flip reminds us at the beginning of every service, an inclusive, innovative synagogue exploring and celebrating Jewish life, committed to building community and repairing the world. We appreciate and value their leadership in our communal worship, whether it's a Friday night service, the High Holidays Marathon, Sunday morning J-Lab, or Friday morning Touch Shabbat at the Children's Academy. But there are countless among us who have benefited from the compassion and care during personal moments in our lives, both times of joy and times of sorrow. Lynn and I both cherish their being with us in Shiva after our mother's passing, in the marriages of our children, and in our own shared B'nai Mitzvot. Others can attest to the comfort and care the rabbis have brought to them, always seeking only to provide the care appropriate for the specific time. Especially during the difficult and challenging times of the past few years, our rabbis have modeled for us that standing strong with the Jewish people and the state of Israel remains a deeply grounding anchor across generations of shifting institutional dynamics, leading trips to Israel both before and after the horrors of October 7th, creating opportunities for congregants to share their thoughts, feelings, and confusion about the ensuing events, and providing models of working through the cognitive dissonance that plagues so many of us. Their dedication and loyalty to the state of Israel as a homeland for the Jewish people is never confused with dedication and loyalty to the government of the state of Israel. With every new crisis, they guide us in balancing these competing ideas and concepts. Last but not least, I want to thank the rabbis for honoring, promoting, and creating opportunities for conversation, discussion, questioning, and hopefully learning from one another, even and especially when our points of view and opinions diverge. Schmooze, women's circle, critical conversations, and even those frequent addenda to emails. Please contact us if you just want to talk. In this role of president this year, I've had the opportunity to work with the rabbis in a different way. I see several others here tonight who have had a similar opportunity, and I hope that they will agree with me that this format has provided a very different view of how dedicated and loyal to Congregation Micah our two rabbis are. In meetings of our management team, our executive committee, and our board, their care for us as both a spiritual community and an organization is evident at all times. I hope that you will all step up to point out to the rabbis all the things I failed to mention. I'm only trying to honor Rabbi Flipp's strict adherence to time limits. And so, as we recognize Rabbi Flipp and Rabbi Lori tonight for receiving their honorary doctorates for 25 years in the rabbinate, I trust that we will all agree that they deserve that award for much more than the mere elapse of time. We honor and thank them for all that they have done and continue to do for us, and we look forward to many more years of the same. Mazel tov, Rabbi Lori and Rabbi Flipp.
Thank you, Ron. I wanted the entire congregation to have the chance to bless you, so I'm going to teach you this one part of this blessing. And it says, Ken Yehi Ratzon, which just means may it be so, may it be God's will. So all you have to do is this. Ken Yehi Ratzon, Ken Yehi Ratzon. Let's try that. Ken Yehi Ratzon, Ken Yehi Ratzon. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha Ken yehi ratzon Ken yehi ratzon Ya'ir Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka Ken yehi ratzon Ken yehi ratzon Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha Shalom, shalom, shalom. Ken yehi ratzon, ken yehi ratzon. Let's give it up for our rabbis.
Enjoys being up in front and spotlighted as much as I do, and I told her we're going to do that to her one day. Okay, thank you for the love. And we want to shed our love and light on the Martinez family as we invite them to come bring light into our sanctuary and light our Shabbat candles this evening.
Yalla la la la, 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 yalla la la la. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav. במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר ציוונו וציוונו להדליק נר, ציוונו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה לה לה. Continue with Lecha Dodi, welcoming our Sabbath bride. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmiyanu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad, Shemo echad, L'shem u'l'tiferet v'lichila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Likrat Shabbat, Lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor haberacha, Mirosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tehila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Hitoreiri, Hitoreiri, Hivaorei, Kumiori, Uri. Dabiri, Vod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Kam v'simcha u'v'tzola, Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, Boi chala. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela.
Yikra Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'almadi v'rachirte v'amlich mahute.
B'chayechon
Yom echon u'dechon b'chol Beit
Israel.
Bagala
Uvizman Kariv V'imiru. Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah.
B'mevorach le'olam ul'ane alamaya.
Yitbara v'yishtaba v'yipar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitala Shemei Dekudisha
Berechu
Le'ila Mikol Berhata V'shir Nanta
Tushbechata v'nechemata
Dami
Iram be'alna v'imiru. Amen. Yaila lai 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 lai. Yaila lai 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 lai. Yaila lai 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 lai. Yaila lai 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 lai. Yaila lai 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 lai. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד. המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד. אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד, שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם, לעולם ועד.
Adonai Elohecha, b'chol avecha u'bechol nafshecha u'bechol meodecha, b'chayu ha'devarim ha'elem, asher anochi mitzevecha hayom alevavecha, v'dishantam levanecha, v'divarta bam, b'shiftecha b'beitecha, u'vletecha b'derech, u'shokbecha u'vkumecha. Ushartam leo dal yadecha, letotafot beinecha. Uvtatam al mitzvot beitecha, uvisharecha. Lama tiskeru, vasitem ekol mitzvotai, v'ditem kedoshim leloichem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeitechem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem,
Adonai Elohechem emet.
So we were approaching July 4th, 250 years of independence, and I'm going to quote the great Martin Light, who pointed out in our Shmooze session that while we may have criticisms of our country, we are allowed to offer them. We can protest. We can march in the streets. In a lot of other countries, that freedom is not offered. The real freedom also began when we were liberated from the slavery we know as Egypt, and we've got a song for that.
Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Malchut hara'u avanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'amiru. Adonai lo le'olam va'ed, Adonai lo le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai la lai la lai la lai, yai lai 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 la lai la lai, yai lai lai, yai la lai la lai la lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai.
And then we left Egypt, and we did not arrive at that promised land for quite some time. We had to go camping. You ever been camping? I enjoy it, sleeping out under the stars, but there's a tenderness to it and also a frighteningness to it. And so we developed prayers that ask for the one thing we all need really the most, and that is protection from all the scary things. So please sing with us.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom, v'ha'amideinu shomreinu lechayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We once again invite those who do not find it difficult to please rise for Tefillah, our central prayer.
Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל העליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסר, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו בשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללו חסלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We always take a little bit of time for our own silent thoughts and prayers, and when you are done, you may be seated.
רצון אמרי פי, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable before you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Ose shalom bimromav, yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, ve'imeru, amen.
Shabbat Shalom. So I sat down to write some sort of reflective piece about what this honor and degree was about, and you can read about that in The Messenger. It is the time of graduations and celebratory certain calendar things, and so I actually thought we had a wonderful time celebrating. Our family did grow up as part of this family of families. Our son's graduation from Indiana University, and they won the national championship the year, which is just as big deal. But when I started to connect that to the Torah portion, it didn't work as well, and I started thinking about my older son, who went to the University of Colorado in Boulder. And I thought about that stretch of interstate in western Kansas that we drove into eastern Colorado, and it doesn't seem to change much. It's like mile after mile of level wheat fields, and the highways cutting right through them in this straight, even trajectory. And the distant horizon never seems to draw near. It's America the Beautiful with its spacious skies and amber waves of grain. And I have to tell you, after 100 miles or so, the inspiration wanes. It does. That is, until the majestic peaks of the Rocky Mountains, boulders that reach straight up into the heavens. And when Lori and Shai and I first made that drive, the Great Plains of Kansas were just a blur of like mental snapshots. They're like quick glances as we looked out the side window as I went 65 miles an hour, and then when Shai drove, he drove faster than that. But the Rocky Mountains were so majestic, they called for us to linger, to savor, to explore. Rabbi Lori really loves the mountains. There's something about the size and the impenetrability of them, whether designed by God or the magnificent results of ancient tectonic shifts. When we were in Seattle, we loved catching a glimpse of Mount Rainier. We spent a little bit of time in those Smoky Mountains as too. And to look out from the top of a mountain vista, several thousand feet above the real ground, it's awesome. It's a moment to remember and an image that can be etched forever into our consciousness. The Jewish people have always looked towards the mountains. A source of help, a source of inspiration. The psalmist declared, Esa enai el hecharim. I lift up my eyes and I look to the mountains. Me'ayin yavo ezri. What's supposed to be the source of my help? So during these weeks between Passover and Shavuot, which we have arrived at, we have this symbolic journey from the flat, narrow straits of Egypt to Mount Sinai. I don't know, that's what they said it looked like on the internet, so that's the picture, right? And Jews all over the world, we have been counting these days as we lift our eyes to see the mountain and receive Torah. And on Shavuot, that's what we're supposed to do, reenact receiving the Torah, revelation, the belief that some sacred truths were revealed to us. And we have this sacred day that concludes the sacred season, and you gotta ask, what happened really on that mountain? Some, 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. What happened that so inspired our ancestors that we still celebrate the moment today? Thousands of years later and thousands of miles away. Maybe God only knows. There's this other anniversary at this season. Something happened on May 5th, 1961. An astronaut named Alan Shepard became the first American in space. And he blasted off from Cape Canaveral and he rocketed like 117 miles up. That's past the highest mountain peaks. Landed, I think it was like 15 or 20 minutes later, some 300 miles out in the Atlantic Ocean. It was just a month after the cosmonaut from the Soviet Union had orbited Earth, and it was the first manned spaceflight. And some saw the human conquest of outer space as like this profound challenge to religious faith. One of the early Russian cosmonauts commented that he had proven once and for all that religion was a lie, because during that voyage into deep space, he found no evidence of heaven or any sign of God. And so for the Soviet Union, their victory in space symbolized the supremacy of Russia, its science, and the triumph of atheism. And then we sent that Artemis thing out there even further, and still nothing. Hashamayim shamayim ladonai, the heavens belong to God, says Psalm 115. V'ha'aretz natan livnei adam, but the earth God gave to humanity. So after astronauts and cosmonauts, how can we assert that the heavens belong to God? And more importantly, how can we at Congregation Micah teach our children with authenticity that something magical actually happened at Sinai? As technology brings us into realms previously beyond our reach, as the human mind unravels questions we once found impenetrable like mountains, we ask ourselves, if the cosmonauts' claim is true, does science make religion obsolete? Does technological advancement and computer chips and AI ultimately erode the foundations of our faith? Can we be intellectually honest, open to reason, receptive to the fruits of scientific research, and still find a reason to believe in Sinai, to believe in God? In college, I was taught to see religion as a childish precursor to science. Religious myths were designed to explain to primitive humanity some of the seemingly unfathomable mysteries of the cosmos. How did the universe begin? Why does rain fall from the sky? What held the stars in their fixed courses in the heavens? And in the absence of better instruments for answering these questions, religion was a useful tool. It provided a sense of coherence and comfort and security, the illusion of purpose and meaning. But religion was, in essence, just a story human beings made up a long time ago to keep ourselves from feeling alone and frightened in the dark. And seen in this way, it's obvious why religion was superseded by science. And the Renaissance didn't do us any favors. Religion lost a lot of ground. There were more compelling answers to the questions that it once addressed, and science, casting light into the dark corners of the universe, gradually came to occupy once an area held by faith, simply because science better explains the workings of nature. And today this struggle goes on. I still read about it. And scientific inquiry, the uncompromising pursuit of truth, it does battle with stubborn, closed-minded religious faith folk. Every advance on the scientific frontier means another defeat for us religious people. And the more people's eyes are open to the discoveries of science, the more they embrace the lessons of reason, the less they need to take refuge in blind faith. Adam Frank, Rochester University astrophysicist, says, "Science and religion are two different world systems bashing heads together. Your rabbi is here to tell you tonight that that could not be more wrong. Science has changed, developed since I left college, and the Bible, that's the same as ever, and yet many of us still read it, study it. And when I think back on 25 years, my perspective has also changed. I no longer see science and religion as two systems in conflict, destined to supplant the other in some battle for truth. Clearly, science and religion operate according to different rules. Science is based on empirical testing and experimentation and a continued skepticism towards evidence, an ongoing effort to verify the knowledge. Religion is based ultimately on ideas which neither can be proved or disproved. Powerful, compelling ideas, which are true in a way that, like great poetry, is true. Science and religion, especially for us Reformed Jews, are not mutually exclusive terms. They are complementary systems intended for different purposes, designed to answer different kinds of questions about the world. The Torah is not meant to compete with scientific study. The Bible's concern, Judaism's concerns, religion's concerns is with the laws and ethics and morality of how we live. Science explains how the world operates, and Judaism teaches us how to operate in the world. No matter how far our scientific knowledge advances, we'll never outgrow the messages of the Torah. Quite the contrary. The more sophisticated our technology becomes, the more we stay in need of the Bible's teachings about justice and compassion and humility and love. So the Judaism we embrace here at Micah is not afraid of science. It's not threatened by the exercise of the human mind. The Judaism we embrace is open and it's inquisitive, and it values the intellect as God's precious gift to us, to be used in the sincere pursuit of science, religion, and truth. I fear only science detached from the moral truths of religion, the science that gives us technical manuals for the efficient operation of things that hurt other people. So traditional Jews, they pray every day 3 times for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's what Chabad means, by the way. Chokhmah, Bina, and Da'at. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The ability to learn what the world has to teach and to use our knowledge with thoughtfulness and with care. Does the universe have a purpose, as the Torah suggests? And does our life have meaning? Or did we haphazardly, the result of blind, impersonal processes of nature, come to be? Either one may be objectively true. But Judaism tells me to give my life meaning, to take hold of a sacred purpose, to impose an ethical structure on my existence in the world. And it teaches us that we need to feed the hungry and heal the sick. And it summons us to bring light to those who dwell in darkness and freedom to those who feel oppressed. The Jewish religion gives me what scientific knowledge alone cannot provide, the commandment to act. So it is possible, I suppose, that the more we learn about the universe, the less astounding it will all seem, the more blasé or matter of fact we might become. But Judaism tells me that science is just a doorway to the holy, that it can bring us closer to the beauty and majesty of the world, with all of its mountains and its stars. And religion tells me that reason should never rob us of the sense of the miraculous, that we should never become deadened to the wonder of being alive. The Hebrew poet Hillel Zeitlin, who died a martyr on the way to Treblinka, wrote, "If you look at the stars and you yawn, says God, then I created you in vain." So some of this room are believers in God, and some of us are not. But most of us, we know what it is to stand under the splendor of the night sky, overwhelmed by the vastness of a galaxy that's, quadrillions and millions of miles wide. To be awestruck by the sense of our smallness and overcome by our place in the infinite. Your rabbi does not know what happened at the foot of Mount Sinai, but it must have been pretty magical enough to inspire our people to strive to be holy and to stand in the awe of the universe, its stars and its explanations, its questions and its mountains. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to turn our hearts and thoughts and prayers to some of the folks we know to need them the most. We are thinking of Nancy Holab-Nevins and Vera Weitzman, Margene Cotton, Rick Margitov, Sherry Goldberg, Kim Keller, and Eddie Sandberg, Olivia Fogel. I'm going to add my dad's name, Tom Rice. If there's other names, people you're thinking of, and you'd like to say their names, we'd like to hear those aloud. To all people in need of such a prayer, we invite you to sing with us.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishebeirach imo
is the holiday of Shavuot, the celebration of the Torah. And if you have not yet been one of the people who comes close to the Torah to help to open the doors of the ark, this is a wonderful opportunity to take. We're going to invite everyone once again to please rise, and a few folks at least to come forward to open these doors.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, בפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
And here, as we often always do at the end of our service, we think about those people who touch us through their spirits. We continue to mourn the recent passings of David Leonard Schnurr, Florence Wittenstein, Amber Ellis, and Karen Cantor. We recall on the anniversaries of their deaths: Deborah Cordoza Schwartz, Elaine Dudnick Roth, Shirley Fair, Helen Farber, Morris Fleischman, Henry E. Foyer, Alan Frankel Fuldauer, Rosalie Goldberg, Francis Goldsmith, Ida Heller, Richard M. Hockman, John Clare Hummel, Hilda Jackman, Evelyn Eppinger Jacobs, Sadie Jenna, Milagros Millie Joes, Henry E. Joes Sr., Jerome Kramer, Dr. Sidney W. Levy, Tom Murphy, Goldie Newman, Eugene Pick, Paulina Pick, Hy Roth, Janet Reinstein Shapiro, Sam Siegel, Irvin Sonny Steinberg, and Charles Whittam. If there's names I've neglected to mention or ones you'd like to say aloud. We think of all people who have been a blessing to humanity and invite you to join us in the words Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlik malchutei, b'chayachon uv'yomachon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'izman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'alam ulalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemedu kudisha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran le'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We say Zichronah Livracha, that their memories should always live on as a blessing. I thank you to Ron, to Kerry, for Cantor Josh, for honoring us, all of you for having us. I hope you will keep us for a little while longer. Absolutely. We are going to do a Kiddush, a Mazel Tov to this guy who will read from the Torah, and a Shabbat Shalom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila le'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava u'v'ratzon, hinchaltanu, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Amen, l'chaim. You got a motzi?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Amen.
Adon Olam. Do it with us.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Le'etz Nasa, V'chefso Kol, Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra, Ve'acharei, Kiklot HaKol, Levado, Yimloch Nora, Vehu Haya, Vehu Hove, Vehu Yeh, Betifara. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra Le'et Nasa V'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Vehu Haya Vehu Hove Vehu Yeh Betifara. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra Le'et Nasa V'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Vehu Haya Vehu Hove Betifara Vehu Haya Vehu Hove Betifara.